Hey guys, welcome to another episode on Suresh Dhawan Talks. Today we're going to be discussing workplace mental health. It's a current issue. There are moves now within the government itself to enact policy to protect employees and create a better workspace for everyone. We all love that. So today we have the guru of mental health and training and workplace guidance. None other than Mr. Suresh Dhawan. Welcome, Suresh. How are you?
I'm good. Your introductions are always out of the world. Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
I lie to the guests. That's what I do.
Okay. Why not? All right, let's go.
Okay, so you've worked with a lot of companies, right?
Right.
What are the common complaints that you've heard from employees relating to their mental health while they're working?
Okay, when you talk about mental health, you can't run away from the core being stress. Okay? So when people say mental health, now sometimes mental health is loosely used. Everything is a mental health issue, right? The moment you give somebody a chance to say, mentally, no, I can't take it straight. I can't take it. Mental health. They use it as a sort of trump card. So the whole idea here is not being able to manage stress for a long period of time. Then you start to get mental health issues.
Okay.
Right? Being stressed is not abnormal. And in fact, stress will be helpful and actually is useful until a certain point.
Okay.
So if you ask me the question about most companies that I train, if I hear complaints, the biggest complaint when it comes to stress, it will be workload. Okay. The other one will be in terms of psychological safety. I don't feel, the participants will say, I don't feel I can speak up here. I don't feel people hear me out here. I don't think I will be able to relate my actual feelings and emotions. There's nobody who I can really trust, Suresh here. So I come, I do my work, I try to do my best, and that's it. So those are normally, so the two things it's people and workload. Even 2 days ago, we had a session online. I was with people from Japan, Korea, India, Philippines, and we were talking about the psychology of change. And I asked them this question in a segment for stress and mental health, right? What would be your main sources of stress and mental health, you think, concerns? Two things came out, people and work. These two things. And this is not just Malaysia. You're talking about APAC. Everybody was like, people work. So people meaning it is either your colleagues, it can also be family members, but it's people, relationships basically. Or workload. Workload, two things. Actually not workload. Work, two areas. One is workload, one is type of work.
Okay.
You give me a job where I'm not competent, I'm not well trained, I don't have the skills yet, but expectations are very high. And depending on my personality type, if I'm not the type that is able to speak up, I might not tell you, especially if I'm new. But and at the same time, I don't know, can I ask for help? Can I reach out? Who can I ask? Because they just dumped it up here, asked me to study, and then now I have to do it. So I myself experienced certain things like that when I joined one corporate organization. And I told my GM, I expect to have a few steps, boss, to climb. Right now what you've given me is a wall. I feel I have to jump, and that takes a lot for me. I don't know whether I can jump high or not, and that affects my self-confidence I end up doubting myself. So that, if you don't take care, sooner or later will start to lead you towards mental health issues.
So where do we draw the line between an employer's responsibility and an employee's personal responsibility when it comes to their mental health issue?
Okay, if you ask me about your own mental health issues, number one is you are responsible for your mental health issues. Okay. I cannot blame the world if I'm stressed up. What I do when I'm going through that stress is up to me. Now, but if I look at it from the employer's point of view, employers want the best out of their staff for the sake of the company, for the business, for the customer. So here, employers need to be able to, first of all, ensure that the work environment is a work environment that will give the employee the best resources, the best situation for them to deliver what they are expected to deliver. So that is the employer's job, which means the leader has to be able to have conversations, create an environment of openness. You must have, for example, facilities where the staff is able to, talk, converse, or maybe even let go steam. That's why a lot of companies now I see, some of my clients, where I'm training, the training room is here, outside there's a pool table. There's another room which is a game room. So when you want to just let off steam, you want to just, let go, relax a bit, go and do that, come back, do your work. So they're not so particular now about how many hours you are at the office. It's about your output. So for you to get the output, you have your own style. Okay, there's a snooker table down there, there's a pool table, there's a foosball thing down there. Do your thing, but deliver your job. That's the scenario. Plus, there are some companies now who just allow 2 days, 3 days work from home. As long as you deliver, I got no complaints. So employers' role now is create the, if I use the body as an analogy, create the environment within the body that all the cells are able to give their best, enough nutrients coming in and waste going out.
Okay.
That's the idea.
So, should employers be held accountable then if the mental health well-being of their employees is not at a certain state?
Employees held accountable how?
I don't know, maybe there's an avenue for employees to make complaints or to bring their grievances out, to make it, to formalize their responsibility.
No, I mean HR already has these kind of things in place where if the employee feels that they have been abused, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically, whatever it is, you can bring these qualms. Or if I feel that I don't feel I fit, I should be able, number one, to speak to my boss. My immediate manager should be that person actually first. If I still can't resolve it or that person is not able to listen, there must be another place I can go, and that is the human resource department, because that's why they are there. They are not just there to recruit you and then make sure you get your trainings done and all that. They are there to make sure the human resource is able to perform. And their job also is to help leaders, equip leaders with abilities to engage with their staff in the right way, have coaching conversations, that is a HR's job. But the employee should be able to, first of all, talk to their immediate supervisor. And if that still doesn't work, then you go to the third party, which is in this case, the HR department. That's how.
Do you think that a company can genuinely care for their employees' benefit when most of them, in fact, not all of them, are driven by profit?
Oh, I mean, every business is a business of profit, but how you treat your employees. I have clients who I will tell you, you see the way they operate, and you know that this is a high-performing team simply because of the way the leaders deal with the employees. Okay. So you see, a business is not just a building. It's. I remember. Okay, let me just a short story.
Sure, go ahead.
When I was,
we can put this on the story section.
Yes, why not? I was in my second job, and in that particular job, it was an NGO. I don't know. I told this story earlier.
No.
This is an NGO. I won't mention the NGO. I think they're still operating. But and very noble intention. So we're taking care of certain groups of in the community, and we used to work 5.5 days. Every Saturday half day is scolding day. Saturday S-day stands for scolding day. The CEO.
I mean, it's formalized. It's something.
No. The employees call it scolding day.
Okay.
Our friend might call it sermon day, scripture day, whatever you want. But that Saturday half day is a day you forget no need to work. You just come and prepare your ears for scolding. And you will get scolding, your bosses will get scolding in front of you by the CEO. In that case, we call him, I think, was executive director. And there was one particular meeting. So he's sitting down at the main seat. I am next to him. Because nobody wants to sit next to him. Everybody wants to sit as far away as possible. My managers are opposite towards the end. And next to me is a supervisor I have. So this one statement he made for me was very interesting. I was how old? I was 23 years old, 24 years old. And he says, all of y'all remember this, okay? I am the driver. I turn left, y'all go left. I turn right, y'all go right. Understand? Don't question. So that is the scenario. And every Saturday there is some story. So any questions he asked? And I look at him. I raise my hands. And I am an executive. Normal executive. I was 4-5 months old. And I was fed up of this every Saturday scolding. So I raised my hand, and let's just call him Jerry. That's not his name, but let's just call him Jerry. Malaysian guy. So he said, Jerry, I disagree. Then he looked at me. Face became red immediately. I said, he looked at me. What do you mean you disagree? I said, no, Jerry, yes, you're right. You're the driver, but we are not the car. We are not the car. I know, we are not the passengers. So, we have to follow you where you go. We are the car that you are driving. The company is not this building. The company is us. I told him. So I'm the executive talking to the ED directly. And he says, what do you mean? I said, if you press the accelerator but the exhaust comes off, the tire moves somewhere else, suddenly the windscreen breaks or the engine doesn't start, you can turn wherever you want, you're not going anywhere. So I told him that, no. His face became even more red. After that, he told my immediate manager, next time, tell Suresh to shut up. Only talk to me after the meeting or before the meeting, not during the... So I think I removed psychological safety for him. But that was in 1999 or was it 2000? Somewhere there. So my point is, there are some See, the leader's role is not just get my people meet my KPI. I need to equip them with the skills, tools, knowledge. Then I have to create an environment where they feel safe enough. They can speak up. They can challenge. They can give ideas. But that is something that they have to learn. So that is the scenario where you will say accountability means to the leader. They are accountable.
But did things change after that? After you told him that?
He became a bit more mellow. Now next Saturday he will look at me. And he will try. Somehow it's interesting because now he's trying to see whether Suresh validates what I'm saying.
Oh,
It's very interesting, because I was the only one who was able to speak up. And interestingly enough, it was a contract-based, contract-based employment. So my contract was renewed, and I was promoted, but I chose to leave. I chose to leave because I felt it was a too toxic an environment for me to work on. And I joined. I would say there were many people who joined after me, who left before me. And a lot of them told me, Suresh, when you leave, since you are the more outspoken guy, before you leave, Suresh, can you slap this person? Or this person? I said, y'all are leaving, y'all slap and go. No, we cannot. But you can. So people, and most of the time, people leave because of their relationship with their immediate manager. I mean, they can be a relationship with the team members. You can say there's a toxic person poking, but that's not the main reason. So if you talk about mental health in the workplace, what is mental health? Mental health is basically your mind being at peace, your mind being excited about work, being creative, doing your best, being productive, going through the stresses of your work day in a more positive driven way. Then you're mentally healthy. Mental illness is when you are on the other continuum, at the other side of the continuum, where you don't feel safe, you cannot trust people, you're not open enough, you are keeping all this energy inside, which is negative, nobody to share with. And when there's nobody to share with, which is on top of you, you will share with people who are in the same boat. And that creates more negativity. So if I am an organization and I want to create a healthy and positive environment, the ones that impact the environment the most are my leaders. I need to get my leaders well equipped to be able to manage their team well. Then, when I go through the challenges of hiring the best people, I will be able to keep the best people. What's the point? Hiring the best people, paying good money. They come, they learn for a while, and then they chow.
So, okay, that's an interesting point because should CEOs or GMs or senior GMs, whatever you want to call it, managerial positions, be evaluated not just on the money they bring in, but in terms of the employee well-being, because we know now that when you don't take care of the employee well-being, then your turnover rates are high, which means you then become a cost center as well.
Correct.
So should they be evaluated in that way?
Yeah, I mean, just to add on a bit, not only that, you see, there is a cost to retrain. So you hire somebody, there is a cost, there's a time cost, there is also a training cost when you're training people. So yes, so you are right. When you say should they be measured in that way, you're right. But is that going to be a measurement that you put onto that person's KPI for their bonus increment? I don't see that happening yet. But if that happens in the future, yeah, good. However, what we do see right now is a lot of engagement surveys, happiness surveys, pulse surveys, whatever you can call it. So that is going on quite well. And companies are spending time, I think it's maybe once a year, once in 2 years, depending on the company, to see how engaged are our people. But one video we did before, right? One of the CEOs said, I'm not paid to babysit adults.
Yes.
Yeah, so his engagement score, you can forget it. And then the Australian example, right? Which went quite, so watch, all of you all watch it. It's very good. A lot of people could resonate. And a lot of comments I saw.
No, I was surprised because they were long videos. So I just tried, I said, because I think on TikTok you can put now even 1 hour clips.
Right.
And I was quite surprised that the people like the long form.
Yes, and it's a higher percentage of people who watch the full video.
Yeah.
Because they can resonate. And when I see the comments, some people say, I think you're talking about the company I worked in. It's like, and it was not. So they tell me, I worked in this. I said, no, this is a different kind of company. So it's very common. And the HR departments, one of the things that they actually look at is engagement surveys. That's part of what they do. In fact, but engagement should not just be a HR thing. It should be a CEO thing. A CEO level, if all the cells in the body are healthy, you can run marathons non-stop.
Okay. Before we go to the next part, which is psychological safety, which become this new term I've learned.
Is it?
Yeah, okay. I didn't know this term existed. But okay, so yesterday I stumbled upon this example in China. They have this 996 rule. That means I work 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. 6 days a week.
Hold on. 9?
9 a.m. to
6.
9 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Six days a week.
Okay.
And they actually showed messages from bosses to these employees that if you leave at 3 a.m., that's good. So that's the work culture there.
But this is what? Oh, this is in general?
In general in China, the 996 rule in China.
Okay.
So then they were following this one young girl who's an executive. She's working at an e-commerce company, and how they go home, and then she just says, I'm numb. I'm too tired for anything. I just shower, sit on the bed, scroll social media. I'm not even looking at anything. The phone is looking at me, and then I sleep.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
So we do see maybe tinges of that here.
Okay.
Like when people work late, they devote themselves to the job and all that. So when you are when people are expected to spend so much time at work, doesn't it then become the company's responsibility to provide the services that you have mentioned?
You're right. I mean, first of all, that 9 to 9 is 12 hours already.
Yeah.
Now, if you knew that coming into the organization, then you need to prepare yourself. If you knew that, if you thought it was 9 to 5, it ends up becoming a 9 to 9. Now, that's a different story, right? Because that is trying to stretch it and hoping you don't make noise. In China, maybe that will work. But in Malaysia, you can forget it. It won't happen. In Malaysia, if it even happens...
I will leave. I'll tell you when I leave.
No, really. Because I had a client who was in China for 20 years, and he probably enjoyed that happening. And also the business was a plant, like a factory kind of thing. So perhaps it suited that kind of environment. He came here, he had a tough time as a CEO. He was a CEO there, he came here as a CEO here. Malaysian dude who was in China 20 years came here, he couldn't manage the people here. And people left. Malaysians, we will not stand for that kind of stuff. Not only Malaysians. If I talk to my European clients or American clients, you can forget it.
For them, after close 6,
I'm not your slave. And I can find a job anywhere else, especially if I know I'm good. So if I'm still doing what I'm doing, so if you ever have that here, so let me give you an example. I don't know whether that's going to be part of the story time that I will do it later. I'll do later, but there was one client that we had where people would go back. I don't know, I did it before or not, but they would go back at 9 o'clock at night, most nights, and once a month, 12 midnight. Right? And that became an issue. Engagement scores came down. And the GM, who is a friend of mine, wanted to change that. And he did. So he wanted his people to give the best. But they couldn't because they felt that I couldn't voice out to the GM because the GM is an achiever. He tries to connect to his people, but when it comes to achieving, for him, there's no compromise. And people felt to help him meet, because they liked him, but to help him meet, we have to stay late also. But it started taking a toll on them and on their family life. And he could sense it. So there's some people in his inner circle will start telling him. So he's like, how do I solve it? Because they're not getting the job done. And he would tell them, you go back. They cannot go back. So we did a 1-year intervention and they became the top, right? But he was willing to listen. So psychological safety, you say the term, right? Can I go to my boss and speak my mind without having repercussions? That's what psychology safety, a psychologically safe environment is. Can I challenge the status quo with not having a backlash? If I can, that's a psychologically safe environment. I might not have an entire psychological safe work environment, but some people I can feel safe with. And those people I can go and talk to. If that person is a boss, then basically half the job is done.
Okay.
So a leader's role, one of the things they should do, make sure people are able to do that. And there's a process. There are 4 things you must do.
Which is?
Okay. The first thing is, a leader must make sure they engage with their staff. Engage means you talk, you participate, you go. I tell my clients this, the more teh tarik sessions you have, the more healthy your organization will be. Not because of teh tarik, because of that chit-chat, coffee time, teh tarik time. Some people call it, I remember a German company I trained, they call it the fireplace chat, where you just be yourself, casual, chit-chat, and just talk. You and me, there's no boss stuff and all that. The more you have these corridor talks, the toilet chit-chat, whatever it is, this short 5-2 minutes thing.
Toilet chit-chats.
Whatever, you never know.
What sort of company are you running?
From this toilet to that. Okay, never mind. Oh my God. Okay.
Cubicle conversations.
So you got the corridor, the pantry, whatever it is. The more you have these kind of chats, people feel that I can open up. So that engagement must happen. And it doesn't have to be in a formal setting, meeting. No, that's not really necessary. Number 2, so if you do that, that conversation itself must create comfort. That's the second step. Engagement, if I'm engaging with you and scolding you, no, that's not going to work. I'm engaging with you, but you feel comfortable talking to me. So I'm creating a comfortable environment for you to engage with me. That will create the third thing, which is called trust.
Okay.
So engagement, creating comfort, builds trust. Now, as I do more of this, that trust will now make you more open with me. So that's what you want. You want openness. So engagement creates engagement, that creates comfort, creates trust, creates openness.
But which companies, as in which countries, do they come from that practice this?
I mean, all countries. I mean, whichever organizations that you see openness, this is what they do.
But not here, right?
No, you have here as well.
But here, I mean, is it practical? Because employees tend to fear that whatever they say is not just whatever they say. That may come with implications to their promotions, to their appraisals, increments and all that.
That's because of the same process but done differently. Engagement is done, but it's uncomfortable. I'm scolded, fault is found, I'm never good enough, all my mistakes are the ones that are highlighted. That creates distrust. And that creates, removes openness. That makes me more closed. So the same thing they're doing, but it's on the negative side. So the same process to create positive, the same create negative. So if I engage with you all the time, then say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and
you do.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. Oh, I do.
See, now, this is the practice in real time.
When it's wrong, lah. When it's good, it's also good, lah. Okay.
You've never said when it's good.
See, the word never. Generalization is another thing that happens here also. But anyway, so you've got engage in the positive way, create comfort, that creates trust. The trust over time creates openness. If I engage with you and I scold you, find fault, nothing is ever good, you're not good enough, that creates, I cannot trust Suresh. Because if I say anything now, it's going to feed into his current thinking about me, which is incompetent. Right?
So it's the attitude of the listener.
Yes. Yes. The boss lah. In this case, yeah.
So, okay, how do we measure the level of psychological safety? Is that the term, right? Of a place. What can you use to measure it? How do you know this place, the employees are psychologically safe?
I mean, the engagement surveys have questions like this, but they don't say, I don't know whether I have not seen some that call or have a title psychological safety, but they'll say like, do you feel comfortable speaking out?
Okay.
With your management or with the leaders. If there was something wrong that you feel that you have to speak up or you have to mention, would you feel safe? So those kind of questions will indicate whether or not there is some level of psychological safety here.
Okay.
So those are there already. But what do you do with that information is important. You see, a lot of engagement surveys are done. There was one client I had, and wow, amazing. She told me this because it was a mandatory thing from France. Okay, it's a French company that you must do this every 2 years. And so she did it, and she said, Suresh, I'm doing this because I have to. I don't want to. And plus, let me just tell you, I don't really care what it means. These numbers you say are coming down, right? It doesn't matter to me because it's just part of what I have to do. I've just checked it off the list. I am not going to change my leadership style, Suresh, for a survey. So you have leaders like this. Then what do? So everybody below her will have to face the consequences. So that will be a very unsafe environment. When you talk about psychology, right? Unsafe environment, not psychology safe. Psychologically safe.
Like high turnovers and all that.
Yeah, high turnovers, and people do just enough. Those who are there, now some of them are 40s, 50s. They're not going to go and just change job, right? Not easy. They got commitments. So they will do just enough to get out of trouble.
I've seen that. Oh, yeah.
I just chuko. And recently I was with the bank and they said, Suresh, we have some people who are just difficult to work with. But I said, so then you do your proper due diligence, put them under your performance improvement program, PIP. Yeah, but Suresh, I cannot because, I say, why? They're delivering. Then what are you complaining? The way they deliver, the attitude, the conversation. So it's a difficult person to deal with, but the person just does enough to stay out of trouble. So you can't touch me. But the people working with that person find it difficult to work with that person. But there is no actual, what shall I say, procedure that I can use, or I think I can use, to change this person or get this person out or whatever it is.
But is psychological safety something that's possible in Malaysia to implement on a mass scale?
Oh, yeah.
Because we are one of the highest in terms of power distance cultures in this the world, right? When we have such this huge power distance gap, is it possible?
I mean, you have to start somewhere, no? So there are companies who, like MX, one of my clients. These people, I think when I was training them, they were already. I think that was the time they were 6 times Employer of the Year,
Wow.
and then the next 3 years continued lah. So I was working with them for 3 years.
How much did they pay to get that?
No, I don't think they paid. Now, why I don't think they paid is because, see, a lot of information I get about companies I train is from the participants themselves, right? And when? During tea breaks, during lunch. It's also interesting because they feel a bit more free during tea break because Suresh is not in front and he's not like the authority. So I asked them, I said, I see you all get, every year, Employer of the Year. What's the difference? Here, we are treated very differently, Suresh. Here, the more we work, the more we earn. I say, wow. So there's a very clear effort and reward metric, and it's very well, for that particular entity, it was very well, what shall I say? Very well described or put on paper that you do A, B, C, D, E, this is what you get. So people were very motivated. They could see how they could earn more. And it doesn't just mean in terms of dollar and cent, no, other rewards, privileges, whatever it is. Then they said, if we have a problem, we can talk to our boss's boss. It's skip level, no? That is a thing that Malaysia needs to start adopting lah. But in American culture, I mean, because my immediate supervisor, they already recognize the biggest cause or the reason most people leave is the immediate manager. Gallup will tell you 47% of all resignations are because of the immediate supervisor or immediate manager. The guy sits on top of me doing my appraisal. Knowing that is out of every 2 people who leave, 1 person is like that. They implemented, okay, you talk to that person's boss. And that middle person cannot do anything about it. So now the entire culture attitude changes. Which means if my staff is uncomfortable and they don't think they can come to me, it's not that you must go to your boss's boss. No. You come to me first. But if they cannot come to me first, I cannot stop them from going to my boss. You see? So now what will I do? I will make sure I'm the first person they come to. For that to happen, I have to engage, make them feel comfortable. I have to make sure there is enough trust that they feel safe talking to me. So my boss will not hear anything. True? So that's the scenario. And that's in Malaysia. I train them in Malaysia. But you've got a group of, because it's an MNC, right? You've got all these different best practices coming in. And the Malaysians love it. The non-Malaysians love it. I had a Finnish girl there. I had a guy from Sweden there. Amazing. And they all worked very well. So very possible. It's very possible.
So let's go to another segment here, which is, of course, something that you touched on earlier, which is workplace stress. Right? We touched on a bit on this even in another episode as well. So let's talk about burnouts. That's something that's been quite popular recently. A lot of news articles coming about that. So is burnout caused by excessive workload, poor management, or unrealistic expectations, or all three? Or have I not found the reason?
Burnout is, it's not the event that kills you, It is your response to the event that kills you. Okay. So what will burn you out might not burn me out. Possible, huh? So what are the causes? Yeah, workload, management, leadership, environment, type of work, health. It can be a multitude of issues, but the idea here is I don't know how to cope. So now I burn out. And there's a phase. There are a few parts. So in our country, actually not just our country, in ASEAN, Southeast Asia, most people don't speak up. Okay, 7 out of 10 people will not speak up. They normally are afraid of the repercussions.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons people end up in burnout is because they don't reach out and ask for help. They don't know how to say no in a way which will not affect them. Even sometimes there is no problem when they say no, actually. But they are just afraid. If I say no, I will be seen as not a team player. I will be seen as incompetent. Nobody else seems to be saying no. But everybody is complaining to each other. So this idea of not being able to say no now, that's one issue. Knowing that's the issue in Malaysia especially, if I'm a leader, knowing my people are like this, I have to go and check and monitor the pressure. Like I'll be speaking at a conference soon, and he's talking about workplace wellness, in fact. And Harvard has this six factors to innovation and happiness. And number 6 is monitoring the pressure. So I, as a leader, need to make sure I monitor the pressure in my team. If my team is the type, knowing that, we are in Malaysia, that people might not really speak up. Only the ones who are comfortable will speak up. I have to go and check. Temperature okay now. If not, I will not know, and it might be too late. And then when I start to see the symptoms of burnout, absenteeism, irritability, infighting, person who is an expert but still making stupid mistakes or silly mistakes, these are all signs and symptoms people are trying to balance but cannot balance. As a leader, instead of scolding, go and find out how come this guy is making simple mistakes.
But is that pragmatic? I mean, not pragmatic, but does it actually happen? I mean,
No, there are clients. I have clients who do that, and that's why the staff stay long.
but those are MNCs, nah?
No, your MNCs, you got GLCs, but because most of our clients are MNCs,
Yeah.
I can see that going on there quite well. But not all MNCs do that. There are
How about in the
MNCs.
lower, like the SME sector? Do you see this happening?
SME sectors? First of all, emphasis on training, not as much. So exposure to what is possible, not possible, unless the leader or the owner or the founder is a person who believes in that. So I've seen some SMEs who call me consistently to go and do training, and then people, and I know them. So you can see those SMEs, okay. But most of the SMEs not like that. Because it's about generating business, it's a startup, or I'm trying to stay profitable, I'm trying to grow, expand. So not all of them. I think I don't have numbers to give you, but in my experience, I don't see as many SMEs in that what shall I say, with that mindset or that behavior compared to MNCs.
Okay. I think we touched on it in another episode, but this is again another much discussed point. Is being always available becoming the new definition of commitment?
Oh wow, always being available. Yeah, I mean, it's becoming an expectation, you can say. So a lot of people in today's world with the MNC environment, global environment, and there is like this, doesn't matter what time, right? Yeah. So you should be available, or at least if you don't, you cannot respond to me verbally because it's at 3 in the morning. Then at least the morning when you wake up, you respond to me.
Okay.
So I can see, that's becoming a bit more. Like even for me, my clients will sometimes 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night, and like, wow. So because we are very close, so it's okay. In our case, I run the business. But will I be happy if they're doing that with my employee? No. So I wouldn't want that for my employee to have to go and manage my client at 12 in the morning, midnight and all that stuff. So that one, I will manage my client's expectation. But I think within the company, right, boss and staff, and in big organizations, or even small organizations, sometimes that happens. Yeah. So.
But have we normalized these sort of habits, have we basically normalized unhealthy working habits?
I think some unhealthy working habits like WhatsApps at V hours, WhatsApps on off days, that has become a very, very normal thing already. It's like you are always accessible, always available, because right now technology allows, right? Before technology did not allow. So now technology allows, it is expected. Unless you manage, I think you asked me one question before also, right, about boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
So that is important between the boss and staff, employer, employee to set.
Okay.
Right? And it should be mutually respected.
Okay, so again, back to your experience in coaching and working with all these companies, right? What are the preventive measures that have the strongest evidence for reducing workplace stress?
Strongest, I mean, relationships in the organization are the cause of most of the relationships and workload.
Okay.
So the ability to communicate your stresses within the organization, that means having these crucial conversations, we call them. They are the ones that actually get a lot of things exposed. Okay. This is the problem. So organizations need to focus on either training the staff and the boss on how to have these crucial conversations. In fact, I just did one with a company in the healthcare area, right? And they've been doing work with me in that area quite a bit. Either it was mental health issues, mental health concerns, how to have mental health conversations. And one more we just did was crucial conversations. How do you have high stakes, opposing opinions and explosive emotional type of conversations between boss and staff? You can train people. If you can do that, and people are doing it often in the organizations when they're having challenges, you will definitely be able to nip the issue in the bud.
When we talk about workplace inspection, right, you have all these certifications. I've seen these companies that go to factories, go to all these and do inspections. Should mental health risk assessments also be part of these inspections?
Yeah, it should, I would say. I mean, It has mental health has been there from those days. Mental health, mental illness, but now it's becoming a bit more documented, a bit more announced. Right now, people know mental health, psychological safety, and all that stuff. So you should have, like, the people in safety and health. The companies that I train, some of them, when they talk to me, they say, "Yeah, Suresh, now we are also being trained on how do we observe signs and symptoms of mental health." And in Malaysia, like, I think there are about 22 or 21 countries in the world that already follow such standard SOP in terms of mental health. And you can send employees from your company to become mental health first aiders. You heard of that before?
No.
So there's this thing called mental health first aider. I'm also accredited lah. So you need to go for, I think you have to renew your license every 2 or 3 years. And you will be trained there on what exactly is mental health. Not everything becomes a mental health issue. When does it become a disorder? When you start to observe signs and symptoms in the organization, what do you do? How do you have a conversation with somebody who's undergoing depression? Can a depressed person work or not? Of course they can. They can still deliver. So it's not like you have a fractured leg, but the mind is fractured. You know. But this person will not give you 100%. They will give you just enough. So how do you have that conversation? So if leaders have a first aider in the office who understands this language, they can at least leverage on that person.
Okay.
And you have, like, another client of mine, we just had a session, APEC session, in fact. They have an internal mental health first aider. So when I talk, we are both on the same page because we both understand. But they want to make it a bit more pronounced to the whole organization that you can actually, everybody can become. But you just have to know how to have that conversation. So that's already happening, my friend.
Okay, so you are somebody who, you're in the previous episode, you talked about your late father and he had mental illness, and then you also struggle with mental health issues as well, right?
When I was younger, yeah.
Yeah, you still do.
But the more I deal with you, maybe you will come back lah. So you never know. You never know.
We are looking for mental health first aiders to assist me in client
Sometimes
management.
even first aiders need first aiders. So
Please, links will be in the description. Please share. Okay.
Okay,
But is asking for help very difficult for somebody who's going through mental health stress, especially in the workplace context?
I mean, in the workplace context, it can be very difficult because if especially I don't have a close friend in the office. And not many people. You have friends, you have colleagues.
Are there really friends in the workplace?
I mean, there are organizations where even when I'm talking to my participants, right, they will say, "Oh, these two best friends." They will say everywhere they go together, they eat together, they lunch together, they even you do team building, they are together. So companies tell me, "Suresh, this one must split." So you have, they are very close and they share a lot of stuff. I have clients of mine who've become very close friends. And they talk to me about really personal stuff, So it is possible. It's very possible. So if you have somebody like that, then you can speak up. But the challenge here is most people come to work, do their work, colleague, hello, that kind of stuff, we go back. So like you said, reaching out for help, is it difficult? It is. For a few reasons. One is I might be seen as incompetent. Another thing can be how will the people in my office judge me? Another thing will be maybe my own personality. I'm very introverted, and I'm a very private person. I normally don't share. Even with my own family, I don't share. How to share with colleagues in the office, right? So you got all these different mechanisms in play. But there are some people who also reach out, and the way they reach out, not so fantastic. It's reach out as if I'm a victim. That's another problem. So the way you reach out is important, but reaching out must happen. For that to happen, the ones who are extroverted may be a bit easier. Again, maybe, not 100%. The ones who are introverted may be a bit more difficult simply because they choose who they speak to. So the core to make that happen is trust. And the trust, I told you, engagement, comfort, trust. Then the openness comes up. The openness is that reaching out. I feel I can reach out. Even if there's nothing that comes back to me, at least I've reached out. I've sent you a message, boss, company, colleagues. I'm struggling.
In a previous interview we did, you said that if an employee has a problem, just say a personal problem, you don't have the right to ask him unless he invites you into that problem. He wants to share.
Yeah. So no, if he has a personal problem that doesn't affect performance, then you cannot go in.
Okay.
Then he has to invite you in. But if that personal problem is affecting performance, now you can go in because it's affecting performance.
So if it's affecting, that means you don't need his invitation to walk
Yeah.
in. Okay, but that means should managers be trained from now on to see signs of these?
Yeah. Because you will see signs from performance already. But you will not know the cause. Is it because the work itself? Because of the other departments giving you problems? Is it because of your own personal health, relationship, whatever issue? But the performance is your evidence.
So managers nowadays should be like mental health first aiders lah.
Everybody. Parents should be first aiders. Husbands should be
You mean
first
parents
aiders.
should hire first aiders?
No.
for themselves?
Everybody should learn how to have these kind of conversations. Because life is so amazing, it will throw you all kinds of curveballs, man.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. Just like at home, let's say your kid has an injury, not every single injury you have to take to the hospital lah, and clinic.
Correct,
You have
yeah.
to know how to do some first aid lah.
Correct.
So just like physically you need to know some first aid, then mentally you also need to know some first aid.
So if an employee, if you are the owner of a company and an employee,
I am.
You are, yeah. $1 million company
Oh,
that makes revenue. Just want to say
Yes,
that.
it's good to
Okay.
have good big visions. I like it.
No, it's happening now.
Oh, it's okay.
Already happened. So if an employee resigns from a company, your company, is that
You
due
said
to
million
burnout?
or billion just now?
Is it billion?
Million.
Million.
Yes, okay.
Multi-million.
Oh my God. Okay, now I continue.
LSDN, please check. Taxes paid not. Okay.
Oh boy.
If you get a doorbell ring tomorrow, LSDN
I
here.
know
Okay.
it's because of you lah.
If you with me. So if an employee resigns from a company because of burnout, does that mean that organization has failed in terms of managing the stress?
I wouldn't put 100% accountability on the organization because the person themselves can be the cause. You see, of taking on too much, not being able to say no, not equipping themselves with the right skills. So it cannot be just one side. You know, if there is a separation between husband and wife, who you want to blame? Correct or not? So the resignation is a divorce. Right? So you came into that relationship for a reason, for mutual gain. Company gets your skills, expertise, you get your rewards and all that stuff, you also grow. But if you just if you resigned, like, some people just did in your case lah. Okay.
Yes.
Correct or not?
To none of my fault. To
That's
no
what
fault
you-
of my own.
Very good. So, exactly. So you will say that and they will say their own story.
Yeah.
So there's always three stories,
Yeah.
Your story, that's their story, and the truth.
That's the truth, yes.
So I wouldn't give full accountability to the company, and it'll be both sides. But in certain companies, the environment is such where people don't last. And there are scenarios where certain people, no matter where you put them, don't last. So how? You have to look at the dynamic. Sometimes one person comes to company A, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years. They go to company B, 20 years. Maybe because this person and that culture fits. You see? Doesn't mean that the earlier one was bad. Maybe the earlier one is constant change. But this person is such where they cannot manage constant change. So you also have to understand what type of organization can you work in. So Jack Welch, right? The previous CEO of, GE? Jack Welch, right? Yeah. So, was it Jack Welch? Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think so.
GE is General Electric, right?
Yeah, General Electric.
There we
Correct.
go.
So
Yeah,
one of the things he said is you need to know whether you're a big company person or small company person. Because when you're a small company person, things move very fast and you are doing multiple things.
Yeah.
And you have direct access to the decision makers. And you can even influence key decisions because it's a small family. Big companies are a very different story. So I've been in big companies, I've been in small companies. So if I look at myself, I like things moving fast. So even my company, we don't grow too big because I don't like to have too many levels and layers and all that stuff, right? And managing too many people for me, for what we do, is not necessary. But some of my competitors have bigger entities. And when I hear their story, I say, thank God I'm not there. But there are some people who just enjoy this huge corporate setup.
Because it's more structured. And
And you got many people you're working with and you are focusing. So you can specialize, in fact.
And I think because you're actually more protected. Like your performance, like in a small company, your performance output is seen immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas big companies, you can relax.
You're
and
right
you can
also.
relax.
That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. Once a year you do your appraisal and there's just so many people. Sometimes you can get away with murder also.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But things also move slowly, but it's structured, organized, rewards are there, salaries are there, there's a brand established. So it gives you a different feel. And you can even sometimes, in some companies, you can specialize. Right? In my company, nobody's a specialist lah. We are
Exactly.
all generalists. We have some specialization, but then we also have to be generalists, right?
Correct.
So you have to decide which company suits your work culture, because you don't want to work for 40 years and then when you retire, the next 15 years you just keep on blaming your previous company about your heart disease and your blood pressure and your diabetes. What's the point?
Okay. So let's sum it up with this then. 5 years from now, what do you think, what does a proper Malaysian workspace in terms of mental health, psychological safety, how does it look like?
Okay. Well, one thing I would like to see would be is most managers or leaders being well aware of what exactly the signs and symptoms are of somebody going through or somebody showing mental health concerns. Something like a regular training program or some kind of awareness that's going on constantly for all leaders. One more thing I would like to see would be perhaps staff forums where staff can actually speak out. Things are happening. Those kind of things in terms of mental health and people just being comfortable.
Okay.
People just being comfortable, voicing out, sharing opinions. So one of the things I liked about MX, and I talked to them, is they said we don't have a need, Suresh, to go up even though we can, because our bosses are so open. When I'm training them in the class, the bosses came in and they said, Suresh, sorry, we have to disturb your class. I said, yeah, why? No, today is customer day. I said, okay, but your employees, no. These are not our employees. These are our customers. That's the mindset, no. They started giving, so each manager, HOD and all that, gave each of their staff chocolates, small square chocolates, as appreciation. So he came and told me, I said, our culture here, Suresh, is these people are our customers. And these people, when we treat them like customers, they treat our actual outside customers very well. So how we treat them will decide how they will treat the customers. Very different culture. So it's like the bosses look at their employees as actual customers. So as long as these people stay in the company, do their best, our actual customers out there who are paying us will continue to be with us, because these people know how to take care of them. So we must take care of our internal employees like internal customers.
Okay.
And they took it literally. So I could see it in my own eyes, my class, and they were happy. All very happy. And that kind of connection you create by doing these simple things. What budget is there? It's effort. It is time. It is having the thinking that I must treat my team, like how I want them to treat the customer, I must treat them. That is the mindset.
Okay.
I would like to see that in Malaysia.
So small steps to make people feel appreciated.
Yeah, that's all you need, actually.
All right. So guys, that was Suresh Dhawan again sharing his thoughts on workplace stress management and how to value your employees. We hope he practices that as well. So,
Alrighty.
Alrighty. So we have more episodes coming your way, guys. As always, links in the description. Get in touch with Suresh Dhawan. If you're looking for if you have any questions, get in touch with him. He has many answers. So we'll see you all soon. Too many sometimes. So we have more episodes coming your way. Stay tuned. Take care.
Oh, boy.
Bye.
Okay.